Good job. Let's keep going, shall we?
Hey everyone, I'm Hannah Shaw, the Kitten Lady, and this is Baby Animal Reading Time. In this video, I'm going to be reading from my Adventures in Fosterland series. This is a super cute children's chapter book series inspired by true stories of my foster animals. And I'm super excited to share that the book series now comes as a box set where you can get all 4 books inside of this adorable Take Me Home collection box. So in this video, I'm going to be reading aloud from book 3. This is Baby Badger. This book is inspired by the true story of my foster kitten, Badger, who was found outside at just 1 day old with no mom during a snowstorm. Because he was an orphan, Badger was raised drinking from a bottle, and he had no other friends except for his stuffed animals. But that all changed when a mama cat named Mia showed up with her babies, and Badger had to learn how the heck to bond with other kittens. So the book Baby Badger is all about warming up, not just physically, but emotionally. Badger has to learn to put aside his fears and his insecurities to learn how to warm up to others and how to become an open, wonderful friend who can become besties with this little kitten who you see on the cover named Leanie. It's filled with adorable moments and valuable lessons about friendship and chosen family. So if you haven't read it yet, I thought I would give you a little peek inside the book, and today I'm going to be reading from chapter 7, which is titled Kitten Safari. At this point in the book, Badger has been living as an orphan kitten in an incubator for weeks, and his only friends that he knows are 3 stuffed animals, each of whom he has given these elaborate, made-up personalities. His stuffed animals are basically family to him, but now he's looking out of the incubator window and he sees that a real family of cats has moved into the nursery, and he's not so sure how to feel. Chapter 7, Kitten Safari. Badger was not happy about the new arrivals. For the rest of the day, he stared at them, grumbling at the realization that they were not going to be disappearing anytime soon. This is the worst, Badger huffed. Au contraire, the crocodile seemed to suggest. Perhaps this is the start of an adventure. Why, this could be a kitten safari. A kitten safari? Badger raised an eyebrow. Oui, oui. This could be très magnifique. Who knows what dangers lie ahead or what mysteries will unfold? Badger let Monsieur Crocodile's idea sink in. A kitten safari. That could be fun. He stood up straight, fixed his whiskers, and tipped his non-existent hat at the toys to welcome them to the beginning of their tour. Plushies and gentle fluff, are you ready for a wild ride? Today I'll be taking you on a kitten safari. That's right, today you'll be observing these wild wiggle worms in their natural habitat. But don't worry, you'll be safe behind this protective glass barrier. Please keep your arms, legs, and antlers inside the vehicle at all times. And now, we're off. He held his paw to his brow, gazing into the corner at the blanket nest. He leaned in and instructed his passengers to observe the kittens. Well, folks, here you can see a big cat surrounded by a bunch of really little ones who are doing some kind of odd activity. He scratched his head as he observed the babies suckling and kneading. What were they doing after all? Yes, what you are observing is, well, the babies are digging for some kind of tummy treasure. Mon Dieu, shouted the crocodile. What curious creatures! Yes, they're very peculiar, aren't they? Badger noted. And such a variety of colors, too. There's stripes, spots, and I must say that one looks like a peanut butter chocolate brownie. I love peanut butter brownies, peeped the moose. Aha! And it looks like Mia the big cat likes them, too. Why, she's licking that brownie swirl kitten all over. Everyone, watch as this enormous cat licks the little one's face and back and... Ew! Badger gasped and hid behind the stuffed bear in horror. Is Mia licking that baby's butt? All the stuffed animals seemed to giggle as Badger stuck out his tongue in disgust. Ugh! Why would she do that? Ick, ick, ick. He rolled on the incubator floor, laughing with them until he had tears in his eyes. Mia did such weird things. Eventually, he caught his breath and said, "Nature is wild, you guys." As Badger got back into character, he saw that the kittens were writhing around the blanket nest, clumsily scooting and squirming without direction. Soon, a little gray one had wiggled too far from the others and was calling out in thunderous cries louder than a fire alarm. "Here we have a wandering screamer. I suppose he doesn't like being alone," he said, pausing in momentary reflection. But the silly guy can't see that the others are right there, just within his reach. Mia shot up and ran over to scoop up the screamer with her mouth. The kitten dangled contentedly from her teeth as she carried him back to the nest, and Badger felt a pang of longing in his heart. Oh, she's their mom, he realized. He thought back to when he'd been lost and alone, crying out for help, but his mom hadn't been able to locate him, and his siblings were nowhere to be found. It seemed like these babies had it much easier. A warm bed to sleep in, and someone to find them if they ever should stray. He tried to put it out of his mind. If he'd learned anything in his first weeks of life, it was that he did not need other cats. "Everyone needs someone to lean on," Teddy said in a comforting tone. He always seemed to know what to say. "That's why you have us." Badger fell into the squishy bear, leaned against the crocodile, and hugged the moose. "You're right. I love you guys." For days, Badger went on observing the kittens like this and trying to learn about their ways. They seemed to live as one unit, lying in massive cuddle piles with all their legs and arms entangled like a knot. As for Mia, she never seemed to leave their side, except to use the litter box or scarf down some food. She spent most of her time lying on the blanket, gazing at the babies and kneading the air. As far as Badger could tell, the kitten's eyes were closed, and they couldn't see him observing them. To be sure, he would make funny faces and stick his tongue out at them as Mia napped. "They have no idea we're here," he laughed to his toys. But one day, something changed. He looked down at the blanket nest for his daily safari and saw a pair of tiny peepers looking right back at him. "Psst! Hey, you! What are you doing up there?" It was the peanut butter brownie kitten. Badger hid behind the crocodile. He didn't want to talk with another kitten. "I know you're in there. I can still see your whiskers," the kitten called up. Badger shouted in the voice of the crocodile, "Je ne parle pas chat," which translates to, "I do not speak cat." The kitten laughed. "You're hilarious. Are you pretending to be a stuffed animal?" Badger stepped from behind the toy with a furrowed brow. "I'm not pretending. That's my friend, Monsieur Crocodile. He's French." "Are you for real? That's gotta be the coolest thing I've ever heard," said the kitten. "Well, pleased to meet you, Monsieur Crocodile. I'm Leanie." She turned to Badger. "And you are?" Badger choked up. He had never had a conversation with a kitten before. I'm Badger." "I've gotta know, how on earth did you befriend a crocodile from France? It must be a fascinating tale." Badger scratched his head. "She thinks I'm the fascinating one?" His heart was pounding as he tried to figure out how much to share. Should he tell her all about the winter storm and how he nearly froze solid? Should he tell her about the chill in his bones and the way his stuffed animals saved him? No, it was all too much. And she was a stranger. She could never understand. He looked at the crocodile and said, "We go way back. It's a long story." "And what about the weird box? What are you doing in there?" Badger was confused. He'd spent so much time looking out from the window that he had never considered what his life looked like from the outside in. To Badger, the incubator was his home, and everything else was unknown. To Leanie, the incubator was a mystery. "This is my clubhouse. It's where I live. Do you ever get lonely in there?" Badger shook his head from side to side. "I have 3 wonderful friends, and I ought to be getting back to them now. So long." He slid down low between the teddy bear and the moose, a safe space for him to hide away. So in the book, Badger has to learn some pretty important lessons about warming up to others and about joining this wonderful feline family. And he learns that family isn't about blood relation. It's about that wonderful feeling you have when you bond with your chosen family. I loved envisioning Badger as this awkward but brave little character because that's exactly how the real Badger was. He didn't know the first thing about nursing with a mama cat or how to cuddle or interact with others. But he was brave, and eventually he learned how to be part of their pack and how to have friends who were not just stuffed animals. Badger is one of my favorite fosters I've ever raised, and I have to say, his personality really shines in this book. The book is available as paperback or as hardcover, and it's also available as part of the Take Me Home collection of all 4 Fosterland books. It's written for early readers, ages 6 to 9, but honestly, I write these books with adult readers in mind as well, and they can really be enjoyed at any age. They have pretty valuable lessons that sometimes are honestly pretty relatable to me as the author and hopefully to you as the reader too. It's full of beautiful illustrations by Beverly Johnson, and in the back you can even find the true story of Baby Badger. So you can find this book and the rest of the series at kittenlady.org/fosterland. I also have videos from books 1 and 2 where I read a chapter out loud and I show you some fun behind the scenes footage of the baby animals who inspired the characters. Thanks for watching and happy reading!